Well, good morning. I've come down here after scoping out this location in the daylight hours to Kingston, Tennessee, and they have a brand new cookout restaurant. And I noticed it on Facebook a couple weeks ago. Somebody posted a photograph of it, and I just thought the building looked kind of interesting. So I came down here during the daylight hours and scoped out the location, and let me show you that little video clip right now and some of those photographs I took of my scouting trip. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ron at you. How y'all doing? I've been having a lot of fun lately doing some nightscape photography, which is kind of out of my normal realm of things. This morning I am going to a location that I heard that they have put in a new hamburger joint, and it's about 35 miles from my house to get there. So I'm wanting to do some nightscape photography with this, but I'm going down there this morning to kind of scope out the location, and I thought I would take you with me, and so you could see the process I go through for finding these. Now, I think one of the things I want to stress here is what's important. And what is really important is, first off, you find the locations, and you can do that by scouring Facebook or whatever, looking for interesting posts, or even just driving through a town and observing different establishments that you might want to photograph and kind of visualizing what they would look like in the dark. So making a trip there in the daytime, to me, is important. And what I do is I take the equipment that I'm going to be using to photograph these establishments so I can check all the possibilities out in the daylight. And I kind of look around the area, determine where I'm going to stand or where I'm going to have to stand to get the whole composition framed up. It's a lot easier doing this in the daytime than in the dark, trying to figure out what you're going to do when you get there. Because normally when you get on site, you only have maybe, it depends on how early you get there, but you only have an hour or maybe 45 minutes of working time to work with the sunrise and the available light. And trying to get the exact composition you want is well, it's a learning experience, let's put it that way. I've already done about 3 of these, and each time I go out, I do learn something else. What I wanted to do in this video was to help you out in case you decided you wanted to do some of this kind of photography, so you could see the process that I go through, and maybe that would give you some tips and help you along in your endeavor to do some nightscape photography in your local town or city, okay? It could be either one. I live in a small town. If you live in a big city, you've got more than I got. I am on location, and I've come to scope out the site. So things that I'm looking for are electric wires, telephone wires, what the lighting situation is, and let's kind of get an idea where we might be standing to do a photograph. And then what I'm going to do is go get the Nikon Z8 and the 24-120. We'll start off with that. So as you can see, they have a real nice sign right here. I'm standing safely on the sidewalk, not out in the street, although I probably could stand out in the street. One thing I don't like is this banner right here in the photograph. I wish that wasn't there. I like to do angle shots of buildings, from the corners and different things. They've got a sign that the marquee changes on it. Let's go ahead and walk on around this direction and see what kind of compositions we can see over here. All right, I've come over here to the back side of the building to kind of look at the area and see what it looks like. One thing I don't like are these light poles. There's one right there that would definitely be in my photograph. Now, if I was to move up a little like this into their parking lot, then I might be able to get that light pole out of my frame. So let's go get the Z8 and the 24-120, and let's make a couple test shots of this location. All right, got the Z8 and the 24-120. We'll see what this looks like at 24 millimeters. Woo, need to change my settings. So there's one photograph there. Let's go over there. Let's go over here near the sidewalk. I'll take you over with me, and let's see if we can get a different profile of the building. One of the things I did not like about that photograph is the gas station, the mobile gas station next to it. That sign was showing up. Now, if it's dark out and they don't have that sign illuminated, then that would probably be okay. So let's look at this angle right here from the side. Now at 24 millimeters, I'm going to have trouble being on the sidewalk and getting my photograph, getting the composition all the way in. So I'm going to have to step off into the roadway a little bit, and it should not be a problem at night. So let's move around to the front of the building. The way it looks to me like there's neon all around the entire perimeter of the building, which probably would be pretty cool. We'll see. Anyways, we're walking down this way, and I didn't really like this shot or this angle because of the banner that they have out in the middle of the yard. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about that. I guess I could approach the banner and take a photograph from this side of it without including it. Let's see what that looks like. That's not bad. That'd be 7224. Let's take a look at that photograph now in the video. You notice I called out the numbers to my photograph. That way I can find them easier. I'll go ahead and leave that in the video so you can see how I work. That's mainly what I'm doing here, is I'm trying to show you my process I go through for doing these nightscapes. 7225 has that banner in it. I'm not really happy about that. Let me see if I can get a different angle here so that banner is not so prevalent. Now in this situation right here, I could probably stand out in the street. This is a side street, so I'm going to go out of the frame just 1 second. Let's see what this looks like right here. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I get a little bit of the street, maybe too much of the sidewalk. Let me move forward just a little bit. I'm going to take a photograph right there and show you what I mean. I'm focusing probably right there where the concrete and the asphalt meet. And let me walk forward just a little bit. Like I said, I'm at 24 millimeters. All I'm trying to do is get the sign and the building in there. So we'll look at 7226, and then 7227 I had to walk forward a little bit. And you can make a comment about those compositions if you like. So far, I think this is going to work out pretty well. There's really no power lines on the straight on shot of this building. Nothing above me up here, so there is some utilities. This could be a good vertical shot right here. Yeah. So I'm going to be taking this photograph, and you'll see two things. Number one, there's a utility box in the frame. And this is photograph number 7228. So the front of the building and that side of the building actually has more interest to me. I'm going to do a photograph on this side of the building. I mean, the other side of the building has the drive-in window, a little more interest over there, and you're really not seeing so much of the street. Anyways, that's going to about do it for this scouting trip. I'm going to have to arrange for one night and come down here and photograph. Now what I need to do now is kind of determine which angle the sun comes up from. So I'm looking at photo pills here, and the satellite picture I'm showing is not the same building, okay? It's a different building. So apparently there was an older business here and they tore it down to build this building. So I'll have to figure it out. But anyways, I'm going to do a screenshot right here and show you. Oops. gonna show you inside the video what that screenshot looks like. Like I said, this is a whole different building right here. So you can see the location right across the street over here. And I brought the Nikon Z8 with the 24-to-120. And coming down here during the daylight hours and scoping it out allowed me to check the lens situation out and which lens I really needed to bring to get the shots I wanted to get. Now, I'm not sure if they're open or not, but there's a lot more lights on the building than I thought there would be. So I'm going to unload here and go across the street, put my safety vest on so I don't get run over by any cars or anything. So let me go get the Z8 out of the vehicle. So this is a Sunday. I picked Sunday, hopefully less traffic. It is about 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central time, and the sun hasn't started to come up yet. I think sunrise is in about an hour, so I do have some time to work at this in total darkness, and then hopefully get some ambient light when the sun does start coming up in the sky. So I'm going to go across the street and I have to take everything with me, so let me get my vest on. Now I parked across the street, okay, at the Ace Hardware. Get this thing all jacked up here because I really didn't want to park in their parking lot and get my vehicle in the photograph. So that's one of the things you kind of have to look at when you're having a little trouble with my vest here this morning. So one of the things you kind of have to look at when you're scoping these locations out is to where you're going to park your vehicle and how far you got to walk to get to where you're going. Anyways, let me get my vest on here. Now, this location is about 35 miles from my house, so you can't really make too many trips. And this is a 4-lane highway, not a 2-lane small town road. One of the first shots I wanted to get was over here off the sidewalk. And I'm gonna put you down just 1 second so I can get my tripod over here. Something like this, with trying to get the sign in the photograph also. It's really bright here. One thing that's gonna be in my picture and I can move to get it out of there is that banner in the front. So I'm gonna reposition so it's kind of like that. And let me get the, let me show you the whole thing here. Let me get the tripod over here. Well, one of the things I need to do is, I had to back up out in the street a little bit. There goes a peace officer. I don't know if he noticed me or not. I'm waiting for the day I'm out here taking photographs, and early in the morning like this, and one of those police officers decides to stop and question me. That should make for an interesting conversation. I may have miscalculated here. Maybe I should have brought the 14 to 30. I'm at 24 millimeters, and I really would like to get more of the expanse just a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do is back up out in the street a little bit. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. I'm just a little bit close, don't have a lot of extra. Of course, I don't want a whole lot of extra, but I like to have a little bit of room at the top where the sign is to crop a little bit. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is go back out in the street just a hair. If you watched one of my previous videos, I had to stand out in the middle of the road. I think it was the movie theater one I did. Yeah, that's better. I bought some of those little bubble level things to go in my hot shoe, but it's kind of hard to see that. Now I can go back out in the middle of the street. It's kind of hard to see those when your camera's 7 feet out in the air, like mine is right now. That's pretty close right there. All right, let's lock this thing down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bracket some shots here. I'm gonna do a bracketing series now. Like I said, I'm at 24 millimeters, 1 second on the shutter, f8. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on bracketing. We'll take 3 shots, 1 stop over, 1 stop under, and I like to use my 2-second timer to take those shots for me. I just have to press the shutter button 1 time. I am focused on the, let's focus about 1/3 of the way in. Being an f8, it should have plenty of depth of field. All right, here we go. So I'm trying to get these nighttime shots first because I like total darkness myself. I see somebody's got some vehicles over here. There's a pickup truck parked over here. That's a bummer. Traffic cones. Well, we'll try to work this out. Some lady over here walking her dogs coming through the gas station. Say good morning. Probably see me out here in my yellow vest and thought I was official. Hey, if you're gonna be out here doing stuff like this, you might as well look like a pro. Act like a pro, even if you're not a pro. Let's go ahead and take a photograph here. Again, focusing about 1/3 of the way in. Still at 1 second. It's that lady. There was a lady with 2 dogs. She just walked around behind me and then walked in front of me. I think I got a photograph of her. Let me look. Yeah, kind of blurry, but I'll show it to you in the I'll show it to you on the video now. It's one thing about the Z8. There's a bunch of customization you can do to the way the camera reacts to you, and I ain't figured out all the menus yet. So as you can see, the sun is starting to come up over that direction there. So I'm going to move back over to the original location and get set up. The sun is coming up in about 35 minutes, and I do want to get some ambient sky lighting if I can. Blue hour. So I'm going to be set back up over here in the middle of this street. So the compositions for this building, well, it's like any building, are kind of limited. I just like shooting this kind of architecture at night. I think it looks cool. They've got some nice neon lights across the top of the building. There are some distractions, the traffic cones, the banner in the front yard. But that's all part of being out here. You have to take the good with the bad. And this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing this morning. I think the sunrise is really gonna be pretty this morning. I can see a lot of color over there. You know, if you're interested in doing this kind of photography, or you wanna try this, and you're having trouble finding your subject matter, I would scour the Facebook pages for your local area and things like that. Watch for news articles like I did for this one. I caught this off of a Facebook page that somebody talked about, saying that the new cookout restaurant was opening in Kingston, Tennessee. And I thought, man, that'd be a pretty interesting nighttime shot. So anyway, I'm just kind of waiting for the sky to materialize over there. As you can see, the blue hour is approaching us. You know, as far as equipment goes, to do this kind of photography, you don't need anything special. Wide angle lens would be nice. It doesn't have to be really ultra wide. You know, 24 to 120 will work. And also too, a sturdy tripod. I like this particular tripod because of the height it gives me. Okay, you can see how high my camera is compared to me. I'm 6'2". You don't need a remote shutter release or anything if you have a self timer. On the Nikon cameras, the self timers can be set up to automatically trigger a number of shots. So when you turn on your bracketing in the camera, say like a 3-shot bracket, well, if you take your 2-second timer and say take 3 photographs when I press the shutter button, it'll, you just press it one time, it'll wait 2 seconds, or you can make that 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and it'll wait and then take the 3 bracketed shots for you without touching the camera. So you don't need a remote shutter release. If you got one, fine, you can use one, but and that's about it. Maybe a safety vest if you're gonna be out here working at night, so you're visible, so people know that you're in the area. And of course, like I said earlier in the video, if you're gonna be out here taking photographs, well, look professional, okay? If somebody approaches you and wants to know what you're doing, tell them what you're doing. There was a couple comments on my previous video about, wasn't I worried about people, malicious people being around at night? Nah, I'm not worried about that at all, okay? I think if you treat everybody with respect and you talk to them, nice, most of the time, you're not gonna have any trouble, all right? I know some of you ladies that might be photographers might be concerned about that. Well, find somebody to go with you, okay? Personally, I like to come out here on my own. I'm gonna get the camera set up now. I just, little dialogue there, and out here in the middle of the street again, and get ready to take some photographs. And I'm gonna take you out here with me so I can show you what I'm doing. So this is my composition, okay? I'm gonna change my exposure just a little bit here. I'm gonna go to a 1/2 second. Well, I see one thing that's wrong here. Let me change my aperture. We're still at 1 second. I said I was gonna change my exposure, but I'm not. 1 second, f8 at ISO 100, and we're bracketing these shots. Let's see if it's enough of a bracket. I'm doing a 1 stop over and a 1 stop under. Yeah, I believe it is. That's enough. Let's do that again, okay? I'm gonna push the shutter button down. I'm gonna continue shooting now and see how the sky materializes over there. I see a lot of oranges, but you probably won't be able to see those too well in the photographs because there's a lot of power lines and telephone poles and street signs. There's even a McDonald's sign over there. So we're just gonna wait and see what the sky materializes as. Looking pretty good though. Starting to really like this sky. And one of the things you want to do when you're out here doing this kind of photography is don't get distracted. There's a lot of things going on around you, just besides the traffic. But you see different photographic opportunities that you might want to go over to and set up to take. Problem is the setup takes a few seconds or maybe a minute or two, and the sky can change very quickly at that point. And you can miss something. So what I tend to do is I scope out a single location, kind of plan it out in my head. I do a scouting trip, okay, like I did on this one in the daytime, so you can kind of check it out. And then come back at night about an hour before sunrise to get set up to take your shots. And then stay on location until the sun starts coming up to capture the blue hour light. Don't get distracted and start jumping around. Once the sun comes up, I'll probably stop shooting because I'm not really interested in getting a daylight sky for this location. I want this nice blue hour that I'm seeing right now. Really beautiful. Just wish all them telephone poles and other distracting elements that are out that way, I wish they weren't in the frame, because right on the horizon, if you can see here comes a car. Right on the horizon, is some really nice color happening. See what I mean? I'm out here in the middle of the road and somebody just come down the side street. Luckily she was an old lady, she was driving slow. I kind of motioned her on past my tripod. I don't want to move my location. Well, I believe I got what I want. Should have had the camera rolling. That lady that was walking the dogs, she come back around and she says, "I'm curious what you're doing that for." And I said, "Well, ma'am, I just said, ma'am, I'm a professional. I take professional photographs of buildings at night." "Oh, okay," she said. "So you're a professional?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I says, "That's why I got the yellow vest on, because I'm a professional." So let me tell you this, okay? If you're going to do this kind of photography, get out early. That's one tip, just get out early. And be here before the sun starts to rise. Determine what kind of sky you're looking for. Like this morning, the sky's pretty clear, there's no clouds in the sky. So that's the blue hour sky I was looking for this location. Anyways, that's it for this nighttime nightscape photography trip. And here we are at the Cookout at 616 Kentucky Street in Kingston, Tennessee. Brand new place. I hear they really got good food. I've never eaten at one before. Maybe I'll have to try it sometime. My name is Ron Durant, and I am a photographer in East Tennessee. Thank you very much for watching the video, and thank you for being on the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.